Good morning, guys, and welcome back to another lesson. Today is Thursday, May 14th, and we are going to be talking about connotation and denotation. So let's get to your goal for today. Today, you're going to be able to understand the meaning of different words using figurative language. You might be asking yourself, what's connotation and denotation? Well, both of these are a type of figurative language. Connotation is the idea, meaning, or feeling that's associated with a word. And denotation is the literal meaning of a word. That means like the dictionary meaning of the word. So when we're looking at connotation and denotation, we have two different things that we're looking at. Connotation is what the author is trying to get the word to mean or feel to you. And then the denotation, like I mentioned, is the actual meaning. Here are your hints for this week for connotation and denotation. For denotation, you're going to want to use the dictionary. Now, since you may not have a paper dictionary like we have in class, we'll be using dictionary.com to get the denotation of this week's words. And for connotation, you're going to want to look at the context that surrounds the word. So this is almost, again, like using context clues to determine the meaning of an unknown word. So remember, denotation, dictionary, connotation, context. So let's get into our words. So from our story, we have the word snatched, assertive, and slender. Now, you may already know the denotation of those words, but like I said, we are going to use that's right, a dictionary. Remember, denotation, dictionary, and we are going to find out the meaning of the words snatched, assertive, and slender. So let's head over to dictionary.com and let's type in those words so we can get the meaning of snatched, assertive, and slender. All right, so here we are on the dictionary.com, and like I said, we're looking for the denotation of each word. So I'm going to type in snatched, and the definition will pop up. So here's the word snatch. Adding an ed just means it's past tense. It happened in the past. It's a verb. And let's look at the definition. To make a sudden effort to seize something as with the hand or grab. So we're going to take that definition and we're going to put it into our chart under the denotation because that's the actual dictionary or literal meaning. So it's to make sudden effort to see something. Let's type that in right now. To make a sudden effort to seize something. And remember, the connotation has to do with the context. So we are going to want to go back to our story, find the word snatched, and try to figure out the connotation, the feeling or the meaning to the word. So let's head back to the story and let's find the word snatched. Okay, so on 383, there is the word connotation. Now remember, good readers, they always reread things so they become better understanders and better learners. So let's take a look at 383. We're focusing on the context so that way we could figure out the connotation of the word. But Cameaway grimaced beneath his smile. He felt a dull pain in his stomach for his little sister. So we know Chief Cameaway is really, really sad. He feels very sick. She had been snatched from the camp during a raid long ago. He despised those who had taken her. So think about the denotation, that literal meaning that we put into our chart. And now let's think of the connotation. What does that word snatched mean if we're talking figuratively? Let's head back to our chart so we can look at one more time the denotation and then we'll figure out the connotation. So we know the denotation, which is the dictionary meaning, the literal meaning of snatched means to make a sudden effort to see something. What would the connotation be? Think and remember back. I'll show you one more time. Connotation is an idea, meaning, or feeling that's associated with that word. So what would the connotation of snatched be? You're right. The connotation of snatched means to take quick, to remove somebody. take someone away quickly. And I'm going to even add without warning. Now, the connotation gives more feeling to the definition, because if you take someone away quickly without warning, you could feel Chief Camewait's pain. Rather than just saying, oh, they took her away, they seized her, the connotation gives it more feeling. All right, let's try another one. We're going to look at the word assertive. Remember, we're going to head to the dictionary.com to find the denotation, because the denotation has to do with the literal meaning, and we can find words' literal meanings using a dictionary. Let's head to dictionary.com so we can figure out the word assertive. All right, here we are right here. Here is the definition of the word assertive. It's an adjective, and it means confidently aggressive or self-assured. So let's head back to our chart and let's put it in. To make things easier, I'm just going to highlight the actual definition. I'm going to copy it and then I'm going to paste it into my chart. So we have confidently aggressive or self-assured. So the denotation, the actual meaning of the word assertive is confidently aggressive or self-assured. Now, to figure out the connotation, remember, we need to head back to the text so we can look at the context that the sentence is used in to figure out the connotation, because we want that actual feeling that the word gives. So let's take a look at the text one more time and let's figure out the connotation. All right, here we go. And we're going to start right here. She had been scrawny and demanding and had an irritating habit of following him everywhere. He remembered. He missed her assertive manner and her constant questions. What had become of her? So we know the denotation of the word. We're looking for the connotation. Okay? And we want to look at those clues that could help us figure it out. So we have, he missed her assertive manner and her constant questions. If you are assertive, that means you put yourself out there. You insert yourself into maybe a conversation. If you're being assertive, you're not standing back and just kind of lingering and waiting. If you're assertive, that means you're confident. You're self-assured. So what would the connotation mean? What's the feeling that the word would give you? Let's head back to our chart and let's think about what we could put in for connotation. If connotation has to do with the feeling that the word would give, what does the connotation of assertive mean? I know the denotation means confidently aggressive or self-assured. What would assertive mean for Sacagawea? Because remember, the chief's talking about Sacagawea being assertive. So the connotation, what does that mean? And I'm going to help you out because maybe you're struggling to figure out the connotation of it. But when you're assertive, that means you're not being a passerby. You're going straight for it. If you're in a conversation, you don't just kind of hang out. It means you assert yourself. You insert yourself. Okay? So connotation for assertive is going to mean if you're assertive, you are one who puts yourself out there. Now, that means like in a conversation or in a group of friends, you're the assertive one. Sacagawea, she inserted herself. She was assertive. She was confident, but she always made sure to put herself out there, even if she was being annoying to her brother. Okay? So let's look at the word slender. Now remember, denotation, what type of tool are you going to use for denotation? That's right, you're going to use the dictionary. And if you don't have a dictionary at home, you can use dictionary.com like I am. But let's head to dictionary.com and let's put the denotation in, the actual meaning of the word. All right, so here we are, and here is your definition for slender. It's an adjective. Having a circumference that is small in proportion to the height or length. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that in. And you can also look down. Here's some other definitions. I don't know that circumference has to do with a circle, so I don't know that I want to really use that one. Let's look at another one. Thin or slight, small in size, thin or weak. So let's go with small in size, because if someone's slender, that does mean that they're small in size. So let's head back to our chart, put the denotation in there. All right, so the denotation is small in size. And for connotation, that's the meaning or the feeling of the word, we need to head back to, that's right, to the context so we can understand the meaning. So let's pull up the context of where the word slender is used. And here we are here. Let's make it a little bigger for you. All right. A slender woman with long, dark braids entered the tent. Her eyes adjusted to the dim light filtered through the thick cloth. She nodded to the chief. "I am Sacagawea," she said. So we know that the denotation of slender means, let's head back to our chart, small in size. But instead of saying, oh, Sacagawea is small in size, they use the word slender. So what are they trying to get you to feel about the word slender? Hit the pause button if you need time to think. If you're ready to continue, keep going or press play when you're ready. So when I think of the word slender, I know it's small in size. You and I looked up the meaning, but the feeling that it gives me, I can picture Sacagawea being tiny, maybe very skinny, maybe even fragile. But that's the connotation. That's what the author wants me to feel about the word. Even though the word really means small in size, when we use the word slender, you're trying to prove a point that that person is really tiny, skinny, fragile, and we're talking about the size. And I'm going to put the size of a person. So let's go to what you're going to do to practice connotation and denotation. You're going to head to Google Classroom and you're going to work on the assignment labeled Unit 6, Week 1, Connotation and Denotation. Now, remember my helpful hint. Use the dictionary for denotation, which if you don't have a paper dictionary, you can use dictionary.com like we did during this lesson. And for the connotation, you're going to want to look at the context. So you're going to have to find like the words in the sentence to help you understand what the author wants you to feel for the meaning of the word. Okay, so let me pull up your assignment so you can see exactly what you're going to be working on. And remember, your assignment's called Unit 6, Week 1, Connotation and Denotation. All right, so here is your assignment, Unit 6, Week 1, Connotation and Denotation. Don't forget, as always, click in each text box, type in your name. Remember, you want to get rid of type here. We don't want to see the type here when we go to look at your work. We just want to see your name. And make sure you read directions. It says read each sentence below for each word in bold. Write the denotation on the line, then write the connotation. She could see her father's sleek canoe far off in the distance. Now remember, denotation has to do with the actual meaning of the word, so you need to use a dictionary. And for connotation, you're going to want to look at the context of the sentence to try to figure out the connotation. Now, all you need to do to write the denotation is click here and start typing. For denotation, you're going to click here and start typing your answer there. And it's the same thing for numbers 2 through 5. So you don't need to do anything other than click near denotation and connotation to put your answers in. All right, guys, head back to Google Classroom, complete Unit 6, Week 1, Connotation and Denotation.